Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Versus here on Two Player Co-op. As always, I'm one of your hosts here, Kevin, along with my brother from my mother, Sean.
How are we doing?
I'm doing Cowabunga, actually.
You're doing Cowabunga?
Yep. Turtle power.
This is beautiful.
This is beautiful. So it's been a while since we did it's been a while since we did a Versus episode here. And while we're no longer at our goal on Patron, this is one we really wanted to do. As you can tell by the title, we're doing an arcade comparison this week.
Electorics?
Electorics. We're doing Ninja Turtles versus Turtles in Time. We're doing the arcade versions. The funny thing I will say before we get started is Leader of the Boys. Obviously, the original Ninja Turtles arcade game, which we're going to play first, is better in the arcade than it was on the Nintendo, obviously. But Turtles in Time, I think we both agree, is better on the Super Nintendo.
You, compared to the arcade?
Yeah.
I do not ever remember playing Turtles in Time in the arcade. That is like not centered. Do you see that?
I know, but it doesn't. It's fine for our framing. It's fine.
No, I know, but it's just like the game is wrong. I don't think of Turtles in Time as an arcade game. I've probably played it, but I do not remember it at all.
We definitely played this more in the arcade for sure.
Oh, I remember playing this all the time. I don't remember ever playing.
By the way,
Turtles
his
in
name
Time.
is not A.E.L. Angelo.
Yeah, that's not Michael.
Nunchakus. All right.
Nunchaku.
So we're going to start off with Cowabunga. Push mode. Push mode.
Not start. First to 99 wins.
I stopped.
Fire!
This is the first time we've done an arcade comparison on Versus, and I'm very excited for this. If we were ever going to do one, this was the one to do. Poor Mikey. I hate that intro for Mikey. It's not fair.
Never.
Start. Push C. Push C.
Oh.
This. Yeah, we definitely played this more. To think about this, obviously we played this game a lot in the arcades, but we played it way more on the Nintendo.
The
It's not even
is
close. The animation is beautiful. This came out in '89. Like, this is some of the prettiest sprite work you've ever seen. Especially
I
at
was
that
going to
time.
say the sprites don't look as good as I would have
But the
imagined,
animation?
But the animation is beautiful.
Yes.
Like, there's just so many frames.
Hurry.
And like the throw.
All right, so try your specials. Okay, now remember that when we get to Turtles in Time, because I have a bone to pick when we get to Category 2. Oh wow, this is way shorter than the NES version. Like there's a whole it's like double long, twice as long. Oh no!
Wow, that was it.
That's what I'm saying. Hit buttons. Here we go.
So do specials not take your life in this?
No. Oh my god, I don't know if we're going to get through 15 minutes of this. Let's
Say your prayers,
Toidles. But you see what I mean? Remember back when we did TMNT of Rage, like a year ago?
Yes.
Like, Rocksteady looks so much better. I mean, again, you're working with Genesis hardware, but like, Rocksteady's perfect here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Got him.
Watch what happens. Whee! Has Shredder ever had a katana in any cartoon ever?
After that Shredder creep.
He really is a creep, that Shredder.
I guess I should have known specials don't use health, because
that's all we did in
NES
Nintendo.
game, that's
yeah.
literally all you do.
I feel like we played the NES version of this almost as much as we played Street Fighter 2. You know?
Probably.
Not that well. No, not that.
I mean, probably
Help
not.
me!
But
Why is she on the radio?
TV. Tonight I die on children's soup. What in the world?
You think about that, like, remember when Dwight brought a turtle and a hammer
to the wedding?
Yeah. Like, who the hell? It's
Actually
horrible.
eats turtles.
Yeah. Duh. I love that they made. Like the turtles aren't that dumb. They wouldn't say, "Duh, who put the lights out?"
Duh. It's like Riley.
Yeah, it's you talking for a dog.
Oh.
Duh. Perfect. Oh, sorry, Sean. I killed you.
I think as maybe I'm just what's the word?
Jaded.
Partial. I don't know. I wholeheartedly believe beat 'em ups just have aged terribly.
Yeah.
Like, this should be a lot of fun, and it's already like, okay, I've had my fill. And it makes me appreciate, like,
Streets of Rage 4.
I was just going to say Streets of Rage 2.
Oh, no, you dead, Showbrain. You ain't
Like,
getting any...
Streets of Rage 2, and, probably even 4 more so. It is just a beat 'em up, but somehow it's got, I don't know, like...
There's enemy variety.
Maybe it's arcade beat 'em ups.
Or they just want to munch your quarters. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, maybe that's...
Like, stop munching my quarters.
Uppercut me across the screen. He's not even... Okay,
Sure.
uh-oh.
Duh.
God
damn it, Sean. That's my joke. Okay. I will say
Still
again.
walking on water.
What
an inconvenient... Not inconvenient. What's the word?
Conscribable?
It's not even a word. Inefficient, I guess, weapon. And now they're all dead. But giant
sledgehammers. They think they're all just game. Oh, yo, I'm the gun.
I don't remember that.
What?
Them crawling across the pipes.
Yeah. Again, because we played this a lot, but we played it mostly on Nintendo.
I don't really want to, but I would be curious if we played through this whole game, how different. Like, I know there's at least one level in the NES that wasn't in the arcade.
There's 2.
The snow level.
And then Tatsu's, the dojo. Oh, God damn it.
Oh, yeah. Tatsu? Is that one?
What the frick?
Oh, come on.
Energy.
Energy. Hurry, why?
You've been racking up deaths on them Mousers.
Yippee-yay!
You get backstrike.
Just trying to get killed.
So
I can't even hit him.
We're never gonna be. You got to jump kick me. No!
No! I feel like the NES arcade.
No.
No, just wait.
I waited for that. Hey, I won. All right.
Yeah, you got all your Mouser kills. Other than, I mean, it's easily one of the most hype games. Most hype I've ever been to get a game in my life.
That and Super Mario.
That, Mario 3, and Street Fighter 2. Probably.
Well, no, I'm just talking on the NES. It's
on
this
the
and Mario
NES.
3.
On the NES, for sure, yeah.
All right. I think we've got enough of the arcade game. Would you agree?
I would agree.
I would agree. All right, so Sean, now let's go over to Turtles in Time. And here we go with the arcade version of Turtles in Time.
What is this theme song?
You don't remember this? Again, the logo is not centered, by the way.
I know, but everything else is.
I don't know, but whoever, like, we could have done a better logo than that.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I don't remember that theme. I'm starting to wonder if I've ever played this on the arcade.
No, I remember it.
Krang's size is so inconsistent. He was the size of the Statue of Liberty there.
No, he was
Krang
bigger.
himself was the size of the Statue of Liberty's head.
3 a.m. Push C. Now, so you push start now, and you get all the lives.
Well, I have 0. Wait.
Start?
Start. Oh.
Okay.
Why am I getting them 2 at a time? 1 credit is 2 lives.
Sure, who cares? We're gonna play like 2 or 3 levels of this.
Holy, okay. The animation is
This is beautiful. Oh my God!
mode
Go on.
6. Mode
Mode 6, what Super Nintendo is known for, and this is the arcade. We love that Mode 6, yo. Dumbass. Now try to do a special. Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
I can't do it.
That's okay. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Why don't we talk about it now? So,
It doesn't work well, so I'm just telling you.
but I mean, but that is how you do it.
Yeah. And if you try to hit jump like a split second before you do that,
I haven't done a special yet.
that's
There,
my
I
point.
did it.
It's so funny. Like, this looks so, like, in my mind, Super Nintendo and Genesis look the same as this pretty much. They don't at all. Like, there's so many frames of animation here that they couldn't
But I
do.
think if you just took a screenshot of this,
A
I think it
screenshot,
would
yeah.
look
Like,
identical
okay,
to
stop
Super
moving.
Nintendo. Like, that's super.
Yeah. But then once they start moving, it is not.
Prepare to die.
Oh, God. Oh, I died.
Are you prepared?
I wasn't. There we go. Oh, my God.
Look at me go.
How are you doing it?
I'm just hitting it. It's very inconsistent. I'm consistently inconsistent. Is that health?
Yeah.
This is a little pose when he gets it.
I hate this. Is like my least favorite boss out of all the Ninja Turtles games. 'Cause
I hate
he's
all
so
the flying
high.
bosses.
Yeah,
It's
but
hard to hit.
he's worse than Stockman. You know, there
He is.
But at least he comes down. Well, okay, shut it. You know what I mean.
Yeah. This level is a lot shorter too. Why were the arcade levels so much shorter?
Because
And they still don't have a health? I thought they did have health in this. I mean, I know on the Super Nintendo.
In
they
Super
do,
Nintendo.
but I would have thought on the arcade. Who else is gun? Oh, you guys handgun.
God damn it, John. I almost think the animations are a tad bit better on the original arcade game. Am I crazy?
I think you're crazy. They're definitely like substantially different. Like
I think there's more frames.
on,
I will get
on
this
the first
death. I will not.
one? No, I think there's more frames in this one.
Damn it. Oh.
What was that?
Okay, that was awesome.
Really? He's getting big now.
I
He's
said
getting
hurry.
pissed.
Oh. No, there's a lot of animation here too. You're right.
Now, how different is this compared to Super Nintendo? Like the actual game,
So
like
far?
levels, bosses, like the actual game.
Up till now, not at all.
No, I know,
But ooh,
but like if we played the whole game,
it's way better on Super Nintendo. They added levels, they added bosses. The only thing that the arcade game does better than Super Nintendo is that instead of fighting Clayface, you fight Slash in the Super Nintendo version. When you go to the dinosaur level, like in Super Nintendo, you fight.
yeah.
Oh, or is it? No, it's the other way.
No, you fight.
You fight Clayface in the arcade. I think.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So there's nothing better that this does than the other one.
What is
Oh,
that?
dang!
What is this?
Yeah, he's not in Super Nintendo. He's like a new version of a Mauser. I don't know why I did see.
You always do.
No, but there's one of the other things that's different. So in this, if you fight Tyson, if you fight Shredder at the end, in this he's just Shredder with a sword. He's not Super Shredder. He's Super Shredder in Super Nintendo, which I think is better.
I think it's better.
Well, it is. He's Super Shredder. His spikes get bigger. Wow. I forget at this point. I forget all the differences between the two. But I do think Super Nintendo is like Turtles in Time Definitive Edition. We're not talking about Reshelled. We thought about doing this with Reshelled, but we're not.
Pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah. Oh, get closer. Get him, Sean. Get him, Sean. Well, you suck. Yeah, like now I think like Hyperstone looks like crap.
I mean,
Here we go. Metalhead.
going to mangle your green slime balls.
I'm trying to wrangle your brains, guys.
I thought he said, I'm going to mangle your green something.
Brains.
Green brains.
I have so many more lives than you. I don't know how you're...
I just use one thumb.
I do that.
I
just use one thumb as opposed to 3. I'm using one thumb. And I'm jumping in the air like a nimbly bimbly idiot. The explosions are so much better in this than Super Nintendo, but we're not comparing this to Super Nintendo. Maybe we will do that one day. Yo!
Is this Rat King? Like even in the arcade, I mean?
I don't remember. It's. I feel like it's different. Was it
Or
Rat
is it
King?
Leather- It was Rat King in Super Nintendo. I think it was Leatherhead in Hyperstone.
It was
Wasn't it? Don't you fight Leatherhead in the sewer?
you fight
in
Leatherhead on
Hyperstone?
the boat in Genesis.
My toes,
I almost said
my
Genesis.
toes. My toes. My
God
toes.
bless. I hate these stupid.
Xenomorphs.
They're not though, but they are.
I always hated these weapons. Like it's like a sai, but without the most important part of the sai.
Right. Put a tuning fork on your neck,
My
you
toes.
son of
my
a biscuit.
toes.
I feel like these guys don't have as much of a tell in the arcade version as they do in Super
Yeah, I didn't
Nintendo
even
and
see them. They
Genesis.
just pop out.
Shut up. You are. I'm kicking your butt. I'm gonna switch the scores. I know how to do that. I'm moving. Can you be any louder?
My loudness is paying off in the score.
Can you not be so freaking loud? This is one of the games
the
where
controller's loud.
where I wish we had a joystick. Okay. I think it's just aliens. Yeah. Stand by for a whole bunch of clickety clacks. Oh, look at I'm at my 40 desk because some count more than others because my name's Sean and I'm a
Oh, they all count for.
No, they don't.
I
you
just
were
went
up
from
by like
157.
15.
Yeah, I smoked. I just went from 158 to 159. 159 to 160.
You're
61.
169. Oh.
162.
Ha, ha, ha. Here we go.
Oh, what?
What? I won. I died. Here we go.
Oh.
Mode 6.
I'm banishing you
It comes out of my front spike. Oh, God. All right.
Historic Turtlesaurus.
See, we get Clayface
Yeah.
instead of Slash.
And everything's purple instead of orange.
No, it was purple.
No, it was orange.
No, you're an orange.
All right. Well, this is where we called it on the other one. Should we call it?
I think we call it. Turtles in Time, the arcade game. Any final thoughts, Sean, or you want to just get to the rankings?
We'll save it for the rankings.
We'll save it for the rankings. But until that time, let's go to the rankings. All right, Sean. On every episode of Versus, after we played both of the games, we get back together and we rate them across 3 different categories: presentation, gameplay, replay value. Presentation is what we're going to do first because that's the first on the list. So when we're talking presentation, we're talking graphics, animation, sound, audio, everything. So we're talking
Sound and audio?
No, but you know what I mean? Like sound effects,
Yeah.
audio, music. You really want me to do this again? So when we're talking Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, versus Turtles in Time, the arcade game, what
Yes.
are your initial thoughts?
I think this is one of those ones where, and we've had this on some other verses where verses,
Versi.
where it is somehow very close, yet still obviously one way. Like, I think the obvious answer is Turtles in Time. But they're also very similar. But there's no doubt in my mind that it should be Turtles in Time, if that makes sense.
For me, I think the graphics are definitely better when it comes to Turtles in Time. The only thing I would say is that I do think, and this could just be our biasing, because we grew up with this with Turtles in or Turtles the arcade game in the arcade and on the regular Nintendo. I think the soundtrack on the original arcade game is better. Obviously, we just played through a couple levels, but
Well, right off the bat, the arcade game has the actual Turtles song. Turtles in Time has something
has
that
me
I don't
and you
even
doing
know.
a pop punk cover
I
to the Turtles, better than time.
Yeah, to me, I think it's, unless you can tell me a reason why, I think this is 100% Turtles in Time.
I think they're both beautiful. The fact that like the original arcade game came out in 1989 and looked as good as it did is a feat among itself. But I do think we have to go, if we're going presentation overall, we got to go to Turtles in Time.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I guess you could maybe prefer from the arcade game is everything seems to be a little bit more, I use the term loosely, like realistic, maybe like more muted colors. Turtles in Time is like blue and green, red and yellow, and it's like in your face. Turtles in Time seems to be a bit more just subdued, but I don't think that means it's any better. It's just different. But yeah, I think it's Turtles in Time.
Okay, presentation goes to Turtles in Time. Next up, gameplay. Now, this is one where I do have a bone to pick.
Okay.
There is something, I don't know if I'm just not good at video games. Well, I know I'm not, but I think the simplicity of the original arcade game in my mind, and the fact that I could not barely pull off a special move in Turtles in Time makes me lean towards the original arcade game. It's simple. You go up to somebody, you hack and you slash and you do it and you jump, and there's not like Turtles in Time definitely elevated the beat 'em up formula, but I think it also complicated it a bit to where as we sit after playing both these games back to back, really honestly, I think the original arcade game to me plays better than Turtles in Time.
To me, they're very similar. After our like half hour or so of playing them both, to me the most glaring difference is the special moves.
Yeah,
I was a little bit better
100%.
at pulling them off than you were, but like it was still way too difficult, and it shouldn't be. They're very, very similar to the point where they're almost identical from a gameplay perspective. And yeah, I guess all other things being essentially equal. And I don't know, maybe it's just the version we have. Like, I don't know if the actual arcade games were like that. I have no reason to believe they weren't, but for that reason alone, yeah, I kind of lean towards the arcade game. Literally the arcade game.
Yeah, there's it maybe it'll be different if we had like joysticks or something, but yeah, I don't remember either of these games playing them in the arcade being this difficult to pull off the special moves or whatever I don't even know if they call them special moves, finishing moves, whatever they called them back in the day. But I do think it was easier to do on the original arcade game. I think the attack methodology was easier on the arcade game. I think it did play a tad bit better. So yeah, I agree. I think controls has to go to the original arcade game.
I think I would tend to agree with you.
Next up, replay value. So we have dead heat going into this. And this is tough because so again, if you listen to this Let's Play all the way through, we definitely played the original Ninja Turtles arcade game in the arcades and probably 70, 80, 100 hours on the NES. So we know that game backwards and frontwards.
That is correct.
We also played the hell out of Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo, even though we didn't own one. Between either emulators or our friends having it, or we grow up and we get one, whatever. Like, this is like, to me, this is the epitome of trying to pick our favorite kids. you have one kid, but you know what I mean. Like this is like these two games, especially if you factor in nostalgia and everything with both of us. Like these two games were so important to both of us growing up as young. Well, I mean, young adults, not even young adults, but as kids in the early 90s. Like these games, like it was these games and X-Men and Street Fighter and then Mortal Kombat a year later that like kept us wanting to go to the arcades every single Sunday. Period.
Just fun.
Yeah, like and the bowling alley and everything. Like this is tough. I do think Turtles in Time is probably the better game. I think it has a better, even though the Super Nintendo game is better. I think the overall arcade game is better, and I feel like there's just something going on with the controls that screwed me up. But what do you think? The original arcade game versus Turtles in Time, replay value. What do you think?
So, first of all, hot take.
No.
Nostalgia goes a very long way with these games.
With every old game. Other than like Mario and Zelda.
Neither of these games were very good. I mean,
no,
when I say were, I mean were 10 minutes ago. Back in our day, they were both fantastic. When we were just playing them, after a couple levels, I'm like, no, I've had enough.
But if you play it once a year, you're like, this is awesome.
But I did play it once a year, and I was already like, that's enough after like a couple levels. That being said, I'm not going to say it's a draw because that's a cop-out, but my God, not these versions of these games, but these games we have played and beaten.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't say triple digits, but high double digits, I would say.
Infinitive.
Okay. For me, I think I would say Turtles in Time because the games are so similar.
Right.
I think Turtles in Time is slightly less. Now, again, I'm really talking about Super Nintendo because some of this may not even hold true for the arcade. But like the arcade, I don't think has any of the stuff where you, because there's no Technodrome, so you don't have the level where you throw the enemy at the screen. I was gonna say like some of the bosses are different in the arcade versus, I mean, in Turtles in Time compared to Turtles. But my God, they are pretty much the same. Like the boss fights in Turtles in Time are not really. There's a bigger rogues gallery, I guess, if you want to call it that. I think. Well, but again, I'm thinking of Super Nintendo. There may be levels in Super Nintendo that aren't even in the arcade, and I don't realize it.
Yeah.
I think the levels in. Gosh, I don't know. I feel like it's Turtles in Time somehow just by default. Like I really want to call it a draw, but I'm not going to. I think it's Turtles in Time by like a 50.1 to 49.9 margin.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I think there's a little bit more variety when it comes to Turtles in Time, the arcade, versus Turtles, the arcade. And I think that alone gives it a slight edge. But I mean, you can't go wrong. Like if you want old school brawlers, you cannot go wrong with either of these games. But I do think that while Turtles in Time, the arcade is not as good as the Super Nintendo version, which is possibly, we'll talk about this in a couple episodes, my favorite brawler ever, the Super Nintendo version of Turtles in Time, you cannot go wrong with the arcade version of this. So I'm leading replay value just because of the different locales and everything, the different enemy types. It's not. I know you've got foot soldiers through the whole thing, but there's like the different locales. You're not just in New York City. You're going back to the purple
prehistoric turtlesaurus.
Yes, you're going back to the train and all that other crap. Like there's so much other stuff, and then you end back in New York City fighting Shredder. He's not Super Shredder in the arcade. He's just Shredder, and he's got.
Are you
back
to New York?
Yeah.
Are the final levels different?
No, because
'Cause-
you still fight Krang in his floating ship in the
that's
Technodrome,
right.
and then you get transported back to New York. You fight
Okay,
Shredder,
yeah.
but in the Super Nintendo game, he's Super Shredder. In the arcade, he's just Shredder, who's big, and he has a lightsaber.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna give replay value to Turtles in Time, but
Yeah,
you can't
by the narrowest of
Yeah,
margins.
if you want, you really can't, like, these two games along with Streets of Rage 2, you can just, like,
I think, yeah, that's what it comes down to. If you want to play an old school beat 'em up game, these both you can't go wrong with. They're going to be right up your alley. I'm
Amen.
talking to you as if you somehow never played either of these games, but like, yeah, you can't go wrong with either of them. I still say they just don't hold up almost in the slightest, but if that's what you're in the mood for, yeah, you can't go wrong with either.
I agree. But in this case, we both give the edge to Turtles in Time
Yes.
for replay value. That means the winner of this versus matchup is...
Turtles in Time.
That's it for another episode of Versus. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, share it with your friends, family, and everybody in between. Did we get this right? Was it Ninja Turtles, the original arcade game, or Turtles in Time that's the better game? Either way, make sure you hit that comment section down below and let us know. And if you have any suggestions or further episodes of Versus, please hit that comment section and let us know. But until the next time, Sean, go ahead and take us out.
Thank you for playing.